Damon here with Complete Media. Going to be talking today about a fixture that I actually haven't used in quite a long time, Intimidator Spot LED 150. This little fixture right here. What I decided to do is to send this out with our DJs so that instead of just having kind of the standard vertigo or style light that just kind of throws a bunch of color and different dots and stuff in the room, but to have something that's a little bit more club effect, a little bit more custom, if you will. So I wanted to do a tutorial to show not only our DJs how to utilize these lights, but anyone who is interested with these Spot 150s, the pros and the cons with these light fixtures. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to break down utilizing the Intimidator Spot 150 lights, and we're going to go over the pros and the cons of these fixtures. So we'll go ahead and pick up this light fixture. The first thing you're going to see is the IEC in, the power in for this light fixture. And the cool part about these, even though they're very tiny, is that they also have an Edison out, so you can daisy chain multiple lights. The next thing that you're going to have here is going to be your fuse, and then you're going to have your DMX in and your DMX out. Today we're not going to be doing any standard DMXing. What we're going to utilize these lights is with a master slave configuration. So we'll go ahead and set all of these lights up and power them on. All of these light fixtures are powered on, and one of the first things that I noticed is that all of them seem to be in blackout mode, which is telling because that shows me how I utilize these light fixtures last. I also see that this one is inverted with both the pan and the tilt. So we'll be able to show you how to change that with each one of these fixtures. And this is the front of the light fixtures. You can see you have a control panel. These have been have some years on them, so they have a little bit of rust, a little bit of dust inside of them. But you can see each one of the light fixtures. The front panel is off, and that's probably just the sleep mode. So what I'll do is I'll go to the first fixture, you have mode escape, up, down, and enter, just like most fixtures. So we'll go ahead and hit the mode button. You can see this is set to DMX 423. I'm not sure what program that was on, but it's here for a specific reason. So we'll leave that alone. All right, so now we go to pan. We'll hit that. You can see how this doesn't have an R here. If it has an R, that means reverse pan. And the tilt, if it has an R here, that means reverse tilt. So these are all set to standard pan. Actually, one of them looks like they're set to reverse, but we'll go ahead and fix those. Display, so you can either set the display to go reverse display, which will turn it upside down. So if you hang these fixtures from a ceiling, you can read them. But I'm not a fan of the reverse display, so we'll put it back. And now you can see it's back to the standard mode. 6 channels, you can go 6 or 11. Again, one of my other videos, which I'll reference right here, talks about kind of the difference between the different channel modes regardless of the fixture. Usually it's more finite. You can have more control over your pan and tilt, as well as you have more control over some of the colors. Sometimes that's really not a good thing. So we leave it on 6 channel. We'll come back to that one. That's the hardest to explain. This tilt right here tells you the degree in which your fixture can tilt. So you can either go to the smallest tilt, which is 9, and then I believe it goes up in increments of 9. So we'll put that on 127. Now, as promised, we're going to go through this here, MSTS, which is master mode. And MAFA is like your manufacturer, NAFA is like your manufacturer internal program. And then you can go down, that was master. And then slave mode, so you have the different modes here. Normally what I do with these fixtures is if you want to have something, I guess, slower, then you hit the MSTL button, and then it goes to SRUN, which I just figure is surround. And then it goes into its internal program here. That's usually a lot slower, so more of a subtle type of setting is what you would utilize this one for. If you want to go faster, then you have where it says NAFA, hit that, and then it goes into fast mode. And it would kind of do the same thing through all of the colors. Unfortunately, with this fixture and with whatever internal program, is it cycles through the colors slowly, but it'll do a lot of motion patterns. So as you see right now, it's got a little green strobing effect going on. It'll do this and its internal pattern, and then it'll switch colors and then do a bunch of different patterns. I wish that the colors would change quicker, but this is kind of your internal pattern here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this on a tripod. I'm going to set one fixture as the master, and then we'll watch as we slave each one of them. All right, now we are set here with our one fixture doing its internal mode. I decided to do the fast mode just because it's fast instead of being slow. So we're going to go DMX out of fixture number 1 into DMX in of fixture number 2. And first thing you notice is how quickly this caught up compared to the Beam LED by American DJ. It took a half a second, but then it did catch up. So now we're going to go to the out of fixture number 2 to the end of fixture number 3, and all I'm doing now is just adjusting the Velcro so that this doesn't all come unraveled for this one quick test. So now we're going to go to the out, fixture number 2, to the end of fixture number 3. Interesting. Could be the fixture or it could be the DMX cable. So we'll try a different DMX cable before we jump to conclusions. So it must be the fixture. It doesn't want to be on slave mode. So we'll just do some quick troubleshooting here. I'll tell you what I did differently in a second. I'm going to set all these fixtures up, make sure that they're okay, and then I'll show you exactly what I did differently here. But now, we have 3 fixtures moving. We're going to go to fixture number 4. We're going to go out of fixture number 3. Into fixture number 4. And then out of fixture number 4 into fixture number 5. Fixture number 4 sounds like it's having a hard time today. This fixture is set inverted, so I'm going to plug it in DMX, but we're going to see it's going to do different than these other 4. Notice that? It's spinning a little bit differently than the other ones, or actually opposite from the others. It's got the reverse tilt on, so as you can see, it's spinning in opposite directions of all the other lights. So we're going to turn that reverse off and then watch it go like everybody else now. And just so that we have this taken care of as well, the reason why the fixture didn't turn on when I plugged it in is because you have to turn on, you have to tell it that you want the slave mode on. That's what SON means, slave mode on. Once you do that, then all the fixtures will accept the slave mode, and they're all working in unison. So I really like this, and what I like about this, and now I'm controlling the first one, so if I don't want it to go the fast mode like you see here, I want it to go a little bit slower. So now we have the surround mode. At least that's what I call it. But you can see again, they're all moving in unison, and it's not as jarring. So during maybe a slower song, or possibly during dinner, I guess it just depends, you can utilize this feature for the lights. And this is also sound mode. You can see as well, when I give it sound, it moves as well. So actually, this is probably the mode that I would go with for the entire day, instead of going to that fast, which you saw here, which I'll go back here so you can see it. When you go to, sorry, when you go, I'll get it. When you go here and you go there, MSTL, nope, that's not it. MAFA, NAFA, when you hit that, you go to fast mode. And fast mode doesn't go to sound. As you can see here, I'm hitting the table and nothing. So when you go to MST, and then you hit the SRUN, I'm going to call that sound mode. I guess that's what you want to call that. And then as I hit the table, they do different pattern, different parts of the internal pattern. So that's going to be the mode that we would utilize, especially when we have 5 fixtures going at once. So I'm going to turn off the lights. So I think that's a pretty cool feature that we have going on here. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the Chauvet Intimidator 150 light fixtures. Let's talk about the pros first. Pro number 1 is that these fixtures are very, very small. So you can have a lot of them in a small space and throw a lot of light. You can carry them a lot easier than you can with, let's say, the big Intimidator 350s or anything like that. The 150s are definitely a lot smaller and easier to operate. Pro number 2 is that you have the power in and the power out in the same fixtures. A lot of small fixtures don't have the ability of doing that, especially some of the newer, cheaper LEDs that come out. They don't have the ability of doing a in and out. It would just be power in, and then you have to have a bunch of surge protectors or something like that. So you can jump all these fixtures in a relatively short space. So for instance, all 5 of these can line up right in front of the DJ booth and just jump one in front of the other and just plug the last one right into the surge protector or into the wall, and you're good to go, instead of having to worry about having multiple outlets for it. Number 3 for my pros is going to be the fact that it is an LED fixture. I don't have to worry about changing bulbs. Most of the older fixtures are not going to be LED. They're going to be halogen lights, and you have to have bulbs at the ready. So this is an older fixture, but it still is LED. So that's definitely one of my pros. Now let's talk about the cons. The first con right out of the gate is that even though this is a tiny fixture, it's kind of heavy. So if you have this in a case, like I actually have these, all 5 of these in one case, in this smaller than my Intimidator 350s, which are a larger fixture, but this case is actually heavier than my 350s. Granted, it's 5 fixtures, but you would figure with this size that it would be a lot lighter, and it's not. So that's one of the cons. The other con that I've seen right away just kind of doing this test is that it's hard to understand what you're actually doing within the functions. So you actually have to play with it, and then if you're trying to explain it to somebody, then it's really hard for them to know even what you're talking about. When I say put it on NAFA and hit enter, and like, what is NAFA? I don't know, it means something, but hit that and that goes to the fast mode. Or put it on NSTL and that is your sound function here. It's hard to understand with those. Pan, tilt, fine. DMX, fine. Or D001, fine. We know what that is, but all of these other acronyms are really hard to understand. I wish it was, a lot of times just MSTL or MST or whatever for master, and SLV for slave. Like, you know what these things are. Show is not hard to do with a readout like this, but to have something, again, a lot of these things are really hard to understand, so you have to play with it and trial and error, or have the manual in front of you. And I mean, these fixtures are more than 10 years old. I don't have any manuals for any of my equipment that's 10, 15 years old. So having something that was easy to understand would have been great. The last con with this light fixture, and I guess it's kind of being nitpicky, I guess, is when you're going through the programs that they have set, it could be a little bit more, I wouldn't say random, but a little less standard. I'm going to go circle, and then we're going to stay on circle, then we're going to go to star, then we're going to go to polka dots, and then we're going to go to lines as far as your gobos go, while I'm on red. And then I'm going to switch to green, and I'm going to start that pattern all over again, where it's going to go green circle, then green stars, and green polka dots, and green lines. Then I'm going to go to yellow, and there's going to be a yellow circle and a yellow stars, and then yellow. Like, it's just too rudimentary. It could be a little bit more random to make your internal show seem a little bit more custom to the event. This one, I mean, as you see right now, it's been on white for a long time, and it's really not doing anything. It's just got a bunch of white circles on the ceiling right now. And then it'll go through white stars, and then it'll go through white polka dots, and then it's just it's not, like I said, it's not random enough. It doesn't seem custom, even though it's an internal program, which we get. It's not supposed to be a custom program, but it doesn't have to be the standard. It's been on white here for the longest time. It could have done something a little bit different, again, to make it more to feel a little bit more custom to the event, even though you're on a standard show with a master slave configuration. But all in all, these light fixtures are great. I do plan on taking these out with the DJs. Sorry DJs, yes, this case is going to be heavy, but I think it's going to be a better show for your event, because you have 5 of these fixtures doing patterns like this in a dance floor. You can just imagine how that's going to look, especially if we have some of our other LED washes in the room. It's just going to give it just such a better effect for your event. So that's what I plan on doing. I'll probably do a follow-up video with these bad boys in action at an event, instead of just kind of sitting here in my junky warehouse. That is my review on the Chauvet Intimidator Spot 150 LED fixture. I'm Damon with Complete Media. I appreciate you checking out the video. Please like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff to help out the channel. Anything that you do would be appreciated. If you have any questions on this fixture or any other fixtures that I've reviewed, definitely let me know. If you want me to elaborate, I can do that, so just let me know. That's the end of this video. Check out all my others, and I will see you later.
Intimidator 150. And that is my review on the Chauvet Intimidator 150. And I do appreciate any feedback that you want to give me. And so this is the Intimidator. And so those are my thoughts on the Intimidator Spot 150 LED fixture. And so those are my thoughts on the Intimidator. And so those are my thoughts on the Chauvet.